I grew up in El Salvador. I was born in El Salvador, grew up there till the age of 8. My parents were both elementary school teachers.
I come from a Mexican immigrant family, and my parents are first generation to arrive to the U.S.
My father was one of 11 children, and he was the only one his parents could afford to send to high school, because even though it's a public high school, you had to wear uniforms and you had to buy books, and that was too expensive.
I come from Long Beach, California, so like Southern California. My mom's an immigrant from the Philippines, and my dad is like, you know, from Chicago, Illinois. His parents died when he was like very young, so going to college was not a reality for him.
My brothers and I had to figure out a way to navigate the educational system. My parents tried their best to help, but they didn't know the educational system. They didn't know what schools were like here and so forth. But they were always supportive.
They had no higher education whatsoever in Mexico, and seeing them struggle a lot financially growing up, I knew I wanted something better, and my parents always told me education is key to that something better.
New York is just a very big urban environment with so much to do and so many different kinds of people, and on one hand it's amazing because of the cultures and the intermingling and everything that takes place, but on the other hand, yeah, it's terrifying to just know how to navigate through that environment when you've come from a small island. Columbia University was a good place to be. I was in the engineering program there, but Columbia really stresses the liberal arts, and so it was an awakening for me in terms of education.
I ended up running into Matt Daly. He's like, well, did your parents go to college? I was like, no. He was like, well, that makes you first generation. I was like, what's that? He told me about the first generation program, and I actually ended up going to a lot of the events, being a part of the community, and then afterwards I was like, this is my home. This is where I feel at peace. This is where I feel like I have my friends and my community.
I struggled my freshman year at UCLA because I didn't know how to study. I didn't know that there were support systems. So I began to do better sophomore year. And then junior year, I got a job tutoring on campus, tutoring math on campus. And that really changed my professional trajectory because I realized that what I really loved was mathematics, and I really loved working with students.
There were so many nights where I would stay up and just figure out financial forms for scholarships before even coming to UP. And then getting here, it's like, how do you register for classes? I can't ask mom and dad, so who can help me on campus? That's what I love about the university. The resources available here, especially through the first generation community, reaching out to Matt Daly and being like, hey, I'm so lost. I can't ask mom and dad, what do you suggest I do?
When you're underrepresented in whatever form, whether it's race or gender or whatever it is, you almost feel like an outsider. And having a student, having other students, having mentors, ambassadors, to say, well, you know, you're not the only one.
I decided to be a first generation ambassador, like the mentor role, because I didn't want people to go through what I went through.
First generation students often are challenged by this imposter syndrome. So that's this feeling that, well, why am I here in college? Do I really belong? And I tell them, honestly, sometimes I suffer a little bit from imposter syndrome. It's like, why am I the dean? Just trying to help them to understand that these feelings, these first generation feelings of doubt or feelings of not belonging can actually also exist with professionals. And it's okay to have them. You just have to work through them.
It's really helped build that community with each other, and knowing that you have familiar faces on campus that you can just run to and say, hey, something really awesome happened to me. And my parents don't quite understand how cool it is because they never went through this. But I know you're experiencing the same things I am, at least a similar path, and I want to share it with you.
It's not just the mind, it's the hearts and the hands, making sure that students have opportunities to do service, making sure that they see that ethics plays a role in whatever discipline they're in, having them explore some of the spiritual questions that young people should be exploring, regardless of your faith, regardless of whether you have faith or not.
I'm involved in the first generation community, involved with diversity inclusion programming, and so recently with BSU we did For the Love of Chocolate, which is like an annual poetry slam that we put on for Black History Month, where we give minorities a space to share their creativity. Just being able to give that platform to somebody who is a person of color and have all of these people who are in places of privilege listen to them and listen to their concerns, listen to their emotions and how they feel and their experiences, I think is probably the best thing that we could offer.
I knew college was not even a possibility if I didn't have financial aid. There was no way my parents could afford anything, not even community college. UP is really good about not letting money be an issue on what you dream. I want donors to just realize that it means so much more coming from a stranger who knows nothing about you. That just means that someone believed in me and someone is saying, hey, you belong at UP.
I think what a scholarship says to a first generation student is that someone believes in them. Someone believes in what they've done so far to get here. Someone believes in what they're doing at UP, and then someone believes in the potential for their success afterwards.
If I could talk to my donors, I would say thank you. I'm very grateful that you have the heart to put out for me and other people like me.
A donation to a scholarship changes lives. It changes the student's life. It changes the lives of the student's family members. A scholarship donation is really changing the trajectory of an entire family.